Hi, I am Fox. Back with me on the Fox's 7 channel. This time I discuss a film titled, The Sand, which was released in 2015. This film is about a beach inhabited by mysterious human-eating creatures. Worse still, all beach visitors who set foot on the sand will disappear in an instant, and will these people survive? The opening scene shows a group of teenagers partying on the beach at night. This bikini party was held to compete with P. Diddy's party. One of the party committees made a rule that all visitors were not allowed to hold cell phones so that this crazy party would not be leaked to the media like the case of the neighbor next door. Then the cell phones were collected and put in the trunk of the car. In the excitement of the party, suddenly 2 teenagers brought something large like an egg filled with mucus. They said that this strange object was found not far from the beach, which they did not realize that this strange object would bring disaster to them. The next day the atmosphere became very calm. A girl named Kale woke up first, then a man named Mitch also woke up from his sleep, which seemed like they were sleeping at the lifeguard post. After waking up, they both saw their friends sleeping in the car. The front row was named John and Chanda, while the back row was named Vance and Ronnie, who also started to wake up from their sleep.
Okay, people, let's get up and
Still around the place, a girl named Marcia also began to wake up on a wooden table. In such a quiet state, Kale's eyes were fixed on a seabird that was looking for food, but the bird was suddenly sucked into the sand. Marcia, who was still half asleep, tried to get off the table even though Kale shouted for Marcia not to set foot on the sand. Unfortunately, Marcia had already fallen into the sand, making her feet suddenly feel sticky and could not be moved. Those who saw Marcia in trouble panicked and were confused about what was really happening. Unexpectedly, Vance tried to help by jumping out of the car, and immediately his legs felt heavy, making him fall. His good intention was to help, but in the end he himself screamed for help. Something like a tentacle pulled Vance's face, facing the sand, began to gnaw and destroy his face like in the Terminator movie. The terrible incident ended with them both sinking into the sand. The terrible incident really traumatized them because they saw their 2 friends die horribly. In a state of panic, they planned to ask the police for help, but they just realized that all the cell phones had been collected and put in the trunk of the car.
The phones are in the trunk.
Mitch, as the person who made the rules, was immediately blamed, and even worse, it turned out that this party was held on a beach that was actually a forbidden area to enter because it was contaminated with dangerous chemicals. John tried to start his car engine several times, but for some reason the engine still wouldn't start. Kale was curious about what creature was actually in this sand. She tried to use her hands to fish something that was below to get out. It looks like a strange object similar to thousands of tentacles shaped like hair, but not curly and very thin. One of the men named Gilbert had just woken up and was trapped in a trash can like Patrick Star, who got into an ice cream cone.
Is this you, Mitch?
Somehow he got into a drum that made me feel sorry and laugh at the same time. Gilbert, who was already stuck with difficulty, tried to get out of the trash can, trying to shake and shake. So they warned there was something dangerous in the sand, telling not to move or get out of the drum. At first Gilbert did not believe it, thinking it was all just a silly joke, but suddenly fell silent after seeing a bird sucked into the sand. They just realized that the people who had attended the party last night had all disappeared, believing they had been eaten and drowned in the sand, and only they were left.
Oh my God.
Got everyone.
Not far from the place, they saw the large shell that was found last night had hatched and realized that the large egg had released a strange monster that was under the sand. Considering that the sea water on this beach was polluted by waste and could create terrible creatures.
Like a monster?
What is it?
In a desperate state, they could only wait and hope that someone would come and help them. John had a plan to take the items in the bag that was lying on Marcia's table.
I'm not gonna let it just
He
sit
tried to
around.
use 2 surfboards behind the car to walk on the sand. One by one the boards were placed as a foothold to walk. Unfortunately, when he was approaching the chair, the surfboard that was stepped on shifted and got further away, making John have to keep trying so that his navel did not touch the sand, but the tentacles came out of the sand and started licking his stomach. Fortunately, John could still survive by immediately jumping into a chair. Immediately he began to hurt because his stomach was injured like someone who was poisoned, and his face was pale while saying this delicious taste felt like being stung by 1,000 blue ring jellyfish.
Fuck, that really hurts.
Jonah! Hey! Look at me, Jonah.
I'm okay.
According to the initial goal, while enduring the pain, John opened Marcia's bag, found some drinks and shared the drinks with them. The atmosphere was so hot it was indeed enjoyable with canned drinks, in contrast to John, who began to hurt after drinking, showing the wound on his stomach getting worse and leaking pus. Withstanding the pain, John could only lie on the table and did not know what else to do because his friends were also increasingly confused about how they could survive in this terrible place, so their last choice was to take the cell phone that was in the back of the car. Assisted by Chanda, Ronnie planned to open the trunk while stepping on the car bumper with the risk of falling into the sand.
Go ahead, turn around. Hold on.
The plan did not go smoothly, even though he tried several times, but still could not open the trunk perfectly because it was blocked by Ronnie's own feet.
It's hitting my shin.
I don't know.
You must be thinking, why not just use the board that John used earlier so that he could just stand in front of the trunk and open it happily? But it's not that easy, because the director wants to extend the duration of the film. The last attempt that seemed like it would work, suddenly a patrol car appeared, making Ronnie surprised and slipped so that the trunk closed tightly, making his right-hand fingers completely trapped. Ronnie clearly screamed in pain helplessly and resigned himself to the situation. This lifeguard named Alex. He casually got off while asking what the teenagers were actually doing on the beach that was in the dangerous prohibition zone.
She's right!
Kale explained that there was something dangerous under the sand.
Marijuana cigarette.
The lifeguard, who did not believe it, then got out of the car right away. Strangely, the tentacles in the sand could not hurt his feet, walking casually without getting hurt at all. Because nothing happened, the lifeguards increasingly did not believe their words. The man was not injured by the parasites because of the boots he was wearing. Then Alex told Kale and Mitch to come down closer, but they both clearly did not want to follow his orders.
I wasn't talking to you. Come down here now.
Feeling underestimated, Alex became angry, threatening them by releasing pepper spray along with the car keys falling on the sand. When trying to take his car keys, Alex's hand immediately felt heavy and could not be moved at all. Kale told the lifeguard to try using pepper spray when Alex immediately sprayed the parasites that emerged from the sand. Unfortunately, the lifeguard's hand had to be crushed, bleeding a lot, and then he immediately fell and ended up being sucked into the sand. From that incident, Mitch realized that shoes were very important. He planned to wrap his feet in a towel and run towards the patrol car.
Those are not gonna fit. I got this. Still got those beach towels?
What are you gonna do?
When Chanda threw her towel, Mitch fell because of the fragile wooden handle. Mitch could only scream in pain when the tentacles began to eat his body and ended up sinking into the sand.
Help, you guys!
His friends could only surrender, not knowing what to do. In a panic, Kale had a plan by giving the wooden handrail to Chanda and then jumping onto the car to help Chanda. They released Ronnie's finger, which was trapped in the trunk of the car.
On the count of 3, 2.
On the other hand, Gilbert panicked after his stomach, which was stuck, began to bleed profusely. The wood began to be placed to make a foothold towards the wooden table. Slowly but surely, Kale and Chanda took turns walking while maintaining their balance and managed to reach John's place.
Man stealing.
Don't worry about me.
Come on, Ronnie, you can do this. There you go. Okay. Come on. Come on.
Unfortunately, when it was Ronnie's turn, he slipped and fell on the sand, making him lunch for the mysterious creature. Unbeknownst to him, the creature began to target Gilbert because his blood was dripping on the sand. Without wasting time, Chanda would go to the patrol car using Mitch's method. After all her legs were wrapped in towels, Chanda immediately ran to the car and managed to climb onto it. But suddenly Gilbert began to feel pain, marked by bleeding from his mouth. It turned out that the creature made a hole and entered through the bottom of the drum. In an instant a large tentacle appeared wrapped around his body, sucking Gilbert into the sand without giving him a chance to say goodbye. The incident caused vibrations like an earthquake. As a result, Chanda, who was on the car, slipped and hit her head until she was unconscious, so that Kale and John could only surrender and wait until Chanda regained consciousness. Until the night, Chanda finally woke up and found a lifeboat on the patrol car. Without thinking, Chanda threw the lifeboat on the sand until it expanded and then jumped into the lifeboat to pick up Kale and John. The plan with the lifeboat finally succeeded one by one. They stood on the lifeboat and got into the car. When Kale's turn came in, suddenly a very large tentacle appeared, surprising them all. Kale, who saw 2 fuel containers, tried to take it and poured it around the car and burned the monster until it disappeared.
You thirsty? motherfucker!
They were finally saved, except John had to die in the car. Unfortunately, Kale and Chanda did not drive the car and only John could, but in reality he died because the parasite had damaged his internal organs. So the two of them could only wait for help until the next day a man suddenly peeked out of the car window and woke them both up. The man also looked safe and could stand on the sand without the appearance of a monster. Finally, they both got off and walked safely on the sand of the beach, while John was left dead with a rotting stomach. At the end of the film shows a group of parasitic monsters swimming quickly towards another beach, hopefully not the beach where Pamela Anderson is on duty as a lifeguard. The message in this film is live simply with your abilities, because partying is not a guarantee to get many friends. But find someone who is loyal, wise, can respect each other, likes to help and accepts you for who you are, and also do not bring something that is not yours, such as bringing your own friend's boyfriend to take home. I am Fox and thanks for watching.